Last night we were promised the most dramatic Bachelor finale ever. Was it? We're going to take the plunge. This is Screen Junkies News. What's better than a shot of Nick in a banana hammock? I'll tell you. Sitting here talking Batch with Andy Signor and
We didn't even
Brent.
get to see the payoff. They went into an ice bath.
They did. They jumped into the ice bath in Finland. But Brent Leidick, Andy Signor, we had to get in our best, our brightest.
Yeah, Brent and I discuss The Bachelor here in the office all the time. And I know some people are annoyed that we keep talking about The Bachelor, but this is the last one. The season just wrapped. And it was not the most dramatic. So we have to discuss this.
This was this whole episode and the After the Final Rose. We got to get into it. But before we get there, I want to know, what brought you to The Bachelor? I'm a girl, so the expectation is that I will watch it.
It's just unfair.
It is unfair. Actually, we have video. Last night I watched the episode and I was like, blah, 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 whatever. But we have video of my husband watching The Bachelor. JTE, can you show what happened when my husband watched the finale when the proposal happened? Yeah.
Crying?
Dude started bawling his face off. Trying
this
to
can't be
cover it.
real.
Oh, totally real.
Those are real.
Yeah, no. Like was wiping it with his shirt. I didn't cry because I know it's all fake. He couldn't get through it. So, gentlemen, I ask you.
Oh, I got a little emotional. They get you. The show gets you. They
does.
trick you, and then you immediately wise up and go, this is BS.
But what brought you to The Bachelor in the first place? What was
I
your
mean, I
first
watched
Bachelor
all
experience?
of this crap. That's the problem. We were just talking about it. Like, I loved Joe Millionaire. I loved the one with they wore the masks and they had to go be out there.
God.
And Monica Lewinsky hosted. I forget the name. The man in the mask. There's so many of these. Joe Schmo back in the day.
That was a good one.
Average Joe. There's like a million of these days. Temptation Island.
Oh, Temptation Island was the bomb.
Paradise Hotel. I mean,
great.
so I'm a reality Survivor and is my number one. But I watch a lot of this reality junkie stuff, and no, my wife did not introduce me. I introduced her. I am the one who
Nice.
makes her watch it. She watches it and has fun with it, but she would probably phase it out if she could. But I like the drama. Like, I like the sort of, I like that we do so much serious stuff sometimes, or so much hard work. It's sort of the check off the mind and watch garbage thing for me is why I do it.
Brent, did you do it or did your wife bring you to it?
Well, so a little bit of both. I think my wife is definitely excited that I'm into it, but I was already into it, maybe for some different reasons. I think it's like one of the best psychological experiments out there.
So
I mean,
true.
it's mind-blowing. They make these people stay up for hours, 10, 12 hours at a time, 14 hours. They give people unlimited alcohol. And then the producers are behind the scenes just getting in the mix, making these people do the wildest stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah. The producer machinations of the show are brilliant. So we got the finale last night. It was Nick Viall, aptly named, who is now on season 4. He
Yes,
went
this
on
is
Bachelor.
fourth time he's been on Bachelor.
Dude,
for those who don't understand this show.
He was on Andy's season and got to the final 2 and got dropped when
and
he
then
proposed.
he showed up unannounced to Caitlin's season.
Made it to final 2, proposed,
Caitlin,
got
I still think the best
dropped.
Bachelorette. Do you agree?
For sure.
Yeah, okay.
Without question.
Yeah,
Caitlin,
okay,
who got
all right. Caitlin was
severely
good.
slut-shamed because she had sex with Nick on like episode 6.
Before the fantasy suite.
That was the first time they had showed
best.
the people actually hooking up. They'd always alluded to it, but that was the first season where they actually went in and were like, okay, they're hooking up for sure.
Yeah, which was awesome because we have to assume that anyway. And honestly, do we really think they're going to find true love?
No.
No. So let's at least see them like hooking up and getting bonkers.
That's what the show is.
So, and then Nick went on Bachelor in Paradise, which was sort of his redemption tour. And then he came back as the Bachelor.
For those who don't know, Bachelor in Paradise is they take all the contestants and then throw them in a resort and they all have sex with each other.
Yeah. Which is basically, you know, whatever.
They have to be coupled by the end of the week.
To survive, to stay another week.
But then they keep introducing new hot bachelors and bachelorettes, which then makes it all dramatic because then it's like, I'm with her. Oh wait, she's way better. And then she's all sad, and I'm all. And
then I have to leave
drama.
Paradise.
Yeah.
But with this, I called episode 1. Vanessa was going to win the show. I called also episode 1 that Rachel would be our first black bachelorette. There was never a question. Now, he did end up dropping Raven, which was ridiculous because had he chosen Raven, they actually would have gotten married, been very happy.
Kudos for JT getting all 3 of those right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice,
JT.
nice.
Very nice.
Solid.
He's a fan.
He is not a fan.
But he chooses her. He chooses Vanessa, which we all saw coming. And then we go to the After the Final Rose, which was the most uncomfortable After the Final Rose I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
They hate each other.
Yes.
We start the interview with Vanessa, and she basically was like, yeah, everything's great. I mean, it's challenging.
It's like
it's
that Ben
complicated.
Affleck Oscar speech where he goes up and thanks my wife. It's really hard work. That really awkward moment where it's like, huh?
Yeah, totally.
And now they're not together.
They Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, but these guys are supposed to pretend they're in love at least for another few weeks.
Well, see, let's talk about this. That's why I like Vanessa. She was probably the most realist female I feel like they've had on this show because she was challenging him the whole way through. And a lot of people were annoyed by that because it's like, don't you watch the show, girl? Like, why are you there?
And she did not watch the show.
She didn't, but I actually really liked because she would call him out for like, why is this girl here? Aren't you here for love? Like, she was almost the honest contestant there who kept like challenging him like, wait a second, if you love me, why are you with 10 other girls right now? Which is a legit question.
Not if you're on The Bachelor, it's not.
See, but I think that debate is interesting.
My only thing with that is that she just kept telling flat out to the camera that she wasn't gonna, if he proposed, she wasn't gonna say yes. She kept doing it for multiple episodes previous to the finale.
Oh, yeah.
And also going back to the Rachel thing, they announced so early that she was the Bachelorette.
It totally ruined
it.
it.
Really kind of ruined the suspense and the mystery. I knew going in that it's not gonna work out with this Vanessa girl, and Rachel, I'm still reeling from that whole bullshit that happened. So I don't know if we can say that on here, but
Can now.
I was upset, and last night seeing Chris Harrison just try to like amp up that this was like the best finale ever. That made me really mad too.
So we were talking about this before we started, which is how many chicks has Chris Harrison hooked up with on The Bachelor?
Well, I didn't realize he was divorced, which clearly is not a good sign and only implies.
Divorced within the last 3 or 4 years, so that's like 18 seasons deep into the
show,
Bachelor.
right?
Yeah.
Well, during her
Allegedly.
exit interview,
We're all assumptions here.
did you guys not see the chemistry between Chris Harrison and Raven? Like, it seemed very obvious that was the love connection.
Is that
last
like,
night.
I'll give you a pass to paradise if you...
Well, and that's where she's showing up next. So the question is who's hooking up in paradise? Chris Harrison and Raven, probably.
Exactly.
Although, when you guys talk about like how awkward things were, we knew Vanessa was going to win, blah, 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 blah. But there's a great tweet where basically this girl was like, you know what this looks like? This looks like when Katniss and Peeta had to pretend on their tour. JT, do you have it? Yeah. That they're in love. Like, look at how miserable they are. There's also another tweet where Vanessa's showing off the ring and Nick is like making love to the camera. Look at that. That is not a photo shoot with two people who love each other. That is a photo shoot of somebody who loves a camera and somebody who loves a ring.
And who loves, like, if we're not together for 6 months, we don't get to keep this ring.
Yeah. I really don't know if I'm going to say yes to Nick. As soon as he proposes, there you go.
That expression right there is I'm so excited to be on Dancing with the Stars next week, which he starts.
With the hot dancing contestant.
Exactly. A bunch of single dancers on the show.
Here's the question. What will last longer? His appearances on Dancing with the Stars or their relationship?
Oh man!
Oh, wow.
I can't tell how hard Vanessa wants to seem normal after this. You know what I mean? Like, does she want to? Does she get swooped up in a little bit of it? Because I could see that elongating a little longer than it should.
She said last night, because why would she leave Canada? Why would she move away from her family? Like these 15-person Sunday dinners, like her
he's on
great
Dancing
job.
with the Stars.
Right.
But she said she's starting a charity, so I think she's already starting to sort of exploit her.
Exactly. But being together might buy a little bit more time. If they break up, she can't go on the reunions as easily. Like if they're a couple, they could show up. Like what's that guy, Sean, and that boring girl.
Oh, they're the worst.
But,
Sean
right?
Lowe
I'd rather have Nick and Vanessa be the new couple to come back.
There's no way
because they'll have worked through adversity. You know, those are challenges.
No way. They hate each other.
Yeah, they do.
They hate each other.
There's a look when Chris Harrison's asking Vanessa, hey, when is the date? When's the date? Are you guys going to get married? And you can see it in Nick's eyes. He's saying, I am going to murder you.
Oh,
because she's like, no, there's no plan set right now. We're going to kind of work it slow and figure it out. And he's just like, this is my 4th time on this show.
Just
Are
fake
you kidding me?
Well, there was also the moment where Chris, because they know what they're doing, but then Chris starts spinning you're on Dancing with the Stars. That's really tough. There's some hot people in that. Like he's even like trying to nudge them, like because I'm sure that's a bone of contention between the two of them.
Well, because she's like, wait, because the whole time she was like, we're going to have to compromise. The compromise is, are you moving to Canada or am I moving to Los Angeles? Nick started out as a software salesman from Chicago. He is now an out-of-work actor model living in LA. ABC
Living the dream in LA.
Totally.
For now.
For like another
the clock is ticking.
That's fine though.
He has ABC got him a loft in downtown. Once the show is over, he no longer has that loft. So he doesn't really have a home. He certainly doesn't have a job outside of Dancing with the Stars. She
doesn't
has
pay
a
that
life.
much. Yeah.
Like, go be in Canada. And that's the real argument.
Right.
And the truth is she's not going to move. I mean, JT, can you throw up the picture of them that I tweeted out of them, like, looking at each other, not looking at each other? Look at that. Those are two people who are 1 second away from divorce.
Yeah.
They are miserable. They can't stand each other. She doesn't even like the way he smells.
Oh my gosh! Can I ask one thing? Because this was brought up last night on Twitter, and I'll see if you guys have the answers to this. So they were saying that when Raven was escorted out last night, that she didn't get a chance to give her a coat, and so that when they brought Vanessa in, Raven's coat was still on the thing, so she would have already known immediately that she had come in and left.
So my husband brought up the same thing. There was a coat hanging on the coat hanger that Vanessa's coat was put next to. I think it was a man's coat because I said the same thing. Raven got escorted out, which is just savage. No jacket in Finland.
Yeah, the no jacket in Finland was really freezing.
But I think it was a man's coat. I think it was supposed to be either Chris Harrison's or Schmeckel Van Schmeckelstein, Nick's. But I don't think it was a woman's coat because it wasn't long enough. But
It's not a place you want to be in gowns in Finland.
No way.
So cold.
And then you're in Finland to do the big finale, and they put him in this like weird lodge room.
It was actually pretty nice,
I don't
but
know.
I'd
It's
be
kinda
bummed
strange.
when everybody
Yeah, it
else
was-
gets like tropical paradise.
You can see business dudes in there drinking beer and like eating cheese, like you know what I mean? It's just a regular lodge normally.
That's where we proposed.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, obviously that proposal isn't going to last very long. The
We
other
met
thing-
Santa the night before.
Okay, there we go. That was thank you. That may
That
be
was
the biggest
so
thing.
awesome.
That this is the
weird.
worst finale of all
Yeah.
time.
You have to
Stage
throw in Santa,
Yeah.
weird fake Finland Santa who doesn't know English. But here's
But then weirdly did.
Yeah, but then he was like, "Oh, give me hugs. I'm just going to hold you." And
He
make
almost
this
got burned
awkward.
by that fire.
I felt like it was a weird fantasy suite. But here's the thing that made it even worse. So I love The Bachelor because, like you said, it is such great psychological drama. And we know they're not looking for love, but it's wonderful to watch the producers manipulate.
Yes.
I was really excited for Rachel's season, which starts in May. Rachel being the first Black Bachelorette. And the big hook of last night's After the Final Rose was it's going to be the most dramatic because we're going to start bringing in bachelors right now for Rachel to
Well,
meet.
no. He was hyping the most dramatic After the Rose ever. So they're hyping this throughout the beginning of the show.
Yep.
They're hyping this. So I'm sitting there like, oh, okay, great.
in the promos.
Because, for the record, the most dramatic moment ever on After the Rose was when a contestant picked the person. It was Melissa Rycroft, and he changed his mind on the after show and decided to go for the one he kicked off.
Molly.
Which he did on the after show.
Yeah.
Like, that was
was the best.
insane.
That was the
That
best.
was
And
by
then
far
she
the
had to
best.
like sit there and go like, okay.
It was so
I'll go with you.
awkward
And
and
now
so
we're married with
amazing.
kids.
And so when you hype me the most dramatic, I, as a fan of
Yeah.
Bachelor Nation, Chris Harrison,
That's right.
we know what the most dramatic moment is, and that
it's
had
that.
wasn't even close, wasn't even in the same time.
Well, I was thinking, I was like, okay, somebody's like Vanessa's showing up and she's pregnant, or Raven's pregnant
like,
with
come
Nick's
on,
kid
you
from
hyped
the
that way
Bachelor
too
suite.
wrong.
Right.
Way too wrong. But they end up bringing out these bachelors, 4 bachelors for Rachel to meet. And each one was doofier than the next. I mean, what did you think of the guys that they brought out for her?
I mean, I thought at least the casting or the producers would have put in one like really solid guy to give us a look, but they didn't. All 4 of the guys. And to be fair, it was probably nerve-wracking to go out there in front of a live audience, you know, and this is their first. But they were bad. And then
They were bad, but not only that, and I was offended by the fact that the one guy had to come out and go, once I go black, I ain't never going back. Like,
if we have video of this,
what?
apologies because this is off my
Like-
phone. This is the most racist thing I've ever heard on national television.
Very nervous. Good. I just want to let you know, I'm ready to go black, and I'm never gonna go back.
oh my God, like, what? And then the poor girl's like, you can
has to,
just
like,
tell she's surrounded by so many white producers,
Yeah.
and it's like, I'll do whatever I have to say to keep this gig.
Smile,
Smile,
clap.
smile, all you racist people. Like,
Do you
why are we
realize-
mentioning she's black? Like, just make it a regular season.
Do you realize how many producers had to sign off on that dude?
Ugh,
They were
so
like, yeah,
gross.
say that.
No,
that'll play.
I think the producers fed that to him. There's no way he came up with that one on his own. I think
can't-
we had
I'm there
producer,
too.
field producer in the back being
You
like,
know
dude,
what, say this,
you should
say
say
this.
this.
Yeah,
You should
yeah,
say
that'd be
But
that.
how stupid do you have to be to actually say it?
Well,
I think
Why
you're
is
on
he
the
on
moment.
the
Yeah,
show?
exactly. But then you're in the moment. You do what you're told. You really do. You get starstruck and you go out there and you say it. You just do it. And that's what Bachelor makes its money on, is having that happen every single season.
Oh man. Okay, I will recount. That's not the most racist thing I've ever seen, but it's the most racist thing I've ever seen on The Bachelor, a show that prides itself on basically always having all white people. But why can't this just be a normal season?
Yes.
Why
I mean,
can't this just be?
I hope this is the flag that then they get some flack of like, just let it be a season. Like,
Yeah.
let's not bring up color. Why do we even need to?
They brought out another dude, and the two of them started like dancing, and it was really awkward.
If that's the whole show of a bunch of white dudes, like I can be with a black girl, like that's I'm gone.
I'm signing off on that show. I'm not I'm skipping that one.
Yeah.
Make it normal.
Straight to paradise for me.
Yeah, just let her be the Bachelorette.
I'm gonna get frustrated with her if she doesn't step up and sort of be like, I don't want any of this.
Right.
This is normal. Don't make that a thing.
I honestly want that guy, the guy who said that horrible thing, I want him to be kicked off preemptively. I think that we need to like start that, because you shouldn't be able to do that on television, and then you certainly shouldn't be brought in to like find love. I think that should be the penance he has to pay.
Well, look, it's like, I think there's also just this whole like everyone's a little too sensitive and things are. I can see both sides of this argument.
Sure.
My problem though is like, okay, this is an historic moment for Bachelordom of the first African American Bachelorette. Like, why don't make that be what this is about?
And she doesn't even
you
need
made
it.
the choice because she was a good contestant. Apparently,
Exactly.
she's very entertaining and
She's
beautiful.
funny.
Let that be what you do on. Like, why do we have to make race be the whole conceit of the show? That's where I'm frustrated.
That's what I was gonna say too. It's like she doesn't. You don't need to bring it up because she's great. Like watching her from the beginning, she was one of my top 3 from the beginning of the season. Like I was like, yeah, let's see more of her. So I'm excited she's coming back.
3?
I mean, I think I had it pretty close. I think I had like 4. I didn't have Raven in there at all.
Oh yeah.
But and honestly,
Danielle, I
think I had Danielle, Corinne.
M or L?
I don't remember which one's which.
L was
The
big
one
boobs,
that she said
and
she was
boring.
falling in love with him,
Her.
and Nick
Yeah,
just turned
that's
it.
big
Yes,
boobs.
exactly.
I
That's
had
L.
big boobs in.
Yep.
No, see, I knew she was too boring, and then M was the one with
She was the
the
prettiest one though.
She was. That girl.
Yeah, she was a she was
She
that's
was
who my
fatal.
wife picked from number 1.
No way. She was so boring, but she
But yeah, I
reminded me
thought
of
she
the
was boring.
one.
I agree.
She reminded me of the one that Prince Farming ended up with and then broke up with not long after.
I became a huge fan of Corinne the whole season. I'm sure.
Yes.
To talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
all
Corinne
along, but
should have been the
she should have
Bachelorette.
been- yeah, she should, because she was just
I would have
great.
watched the hell out of
It's
that.
great television.
Totally.
I'm sure that's what's the only reason she came on for, and she succeeded.
She was fantastic. I loved
Is this
her.
the worst season though? Wrapping this up,
Is this the worst season of Bachelor? Brent, is this the worst
it's
season?
not.
No, it's not the worst
Pablo
season. Juan
was
Pablo, that's what I was gonna say.
terrible.
Juan Pablo
I think
is by far the worst
Desiree's
season.
was really
Desiree,
boring.
no, because Desiree, we got that amazing Brooks breakup that was
Yeah.
like a Nick
That was-
Cassavetes
That was
movie.
the only good
played out
moment in a
real
very
time.
boring
Yeah.
season.
Captain
True.
Jake was bad. I did not like the
Jake
Captain.
Pavelka was a
Pavelka.
sociopath.
Because he came back as the Bachelor, right?
Yeah,
Him and
he was the
Deanna
worst.
argue, yelling
they
at
were
each
the
other.
worst.
on the after show.
I think Jake is probably the worst. Juan Pablo is up there very high.
Yeah.
Desiree was super boring.
That
and
one in England was really boring with the actual prince.
Oh, right. I refused to watch JoJo because she was just so desperate for the
Yeah, I don't
fame,
like
and
her.
I couldn't get into it. So
I'd say it's in. I'd say it's in. It's down though, and it's definitely below the middle. It's not in the top.
Right. The really memorable moments of this season all came courtesy, like you said, of Corinne.
Corinne was the standout
Yeah,
by far.
she was by far the standout. But what I cannot wait for is to watch Vanessa and Nick flame out, because they're going to. Over under, I give them 4 months. Give it to me. How long?
Less 2 months.
2 months.
Yeah.
What say you?
Yeah, I think it's right in the middle. I'll go 3 months.
All right. Well, we want to know what you thought of the finale. Let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. Are you excited for Rachel's season? Do you think that dude should get kicked off? We'll see. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can always click here for more internets. Batch Nation! But it's still Screen Junkies.